Hi everyone, our journal page today, and I'm starting by stamping this page. I just covered this side just so we won't be distracted. I've got a butterfly stamp, I've got some text stamp and some flowers that I'm going to go all over, and of course you can pick whatever you want. This is just going to be details in the background, so I'm not really concerned. And if you want to have a quicker outcome, if you've got tissue paper that is already stamped or have some print on it, you can just glue it and you will have details already made in the back. I'm using this is a Memento Tuxedo Black, and it's permanent ink, so because I'm going to paint on top of it and I don't want it to smear. Now, even with permanent ink like StazOn, this one archival ink, you need to let it be for at least a minute to settle down before you're attempting to put some paint on it or any kind of wet medium. So I just stamped away. I don't really care, and most of it is gonna get covered. As I said, this is just adding details in the back. So taking this flower now, just spreading randomly. Yeah. Okay, so we've got this now. Some text, because I love to have text in the background. They can also overlap if you want to. Just doesn't matter. It's just, as I said, some visual texture in the back. Otherwise, really doesn't matter. For all intent and purposes, you can take just a permanent marker, a black, and scribble away, a doodle, whatever. It doesn't, you don't even have to have a stamp. Yeah. Okay. Finished with the stamping. I think that's enough. And most of it is gonna get covered. And if you want to, and you feel like it's, when you're adding layers, if you feel it's not enough, you can always go back and go over it. So I'm just going to do a quick run with the heat tool. In hopes that it won't smear. I've got some turquoise acrylic paint, and I'm thinking, do I want to add another color? I'm not sure. I'll start with this, and yeah, now I'm using this specific one because it's not opaque. A really great color, but this specific one paint is on the translucent side, so I'm just using it to my advantage. I'm adding even a little bit of water just to make sure it stays translucent and I don't put too much paint so I can see the details in the back. Now usually I don't like to do anything with just one color, but I figured that I'm going to put lots of other stuff on top, that it doesn't really matter this time. Yeah, okay. And I just go, as you can see, from top to bottom, just so I have some consistency in the brush strokes, but you don't have to. And if you don't like the brush strokes, you can take a sponge, a moist sponge, and go all over the page so you won't have, as I said, brush marks. Okay, this needs to dry before I continue. I'll be back. Okay, so background is dry. I've got this stencil that I want to put here on the page. And let's see, I think I'll go like this. And I'm taking a makeup sponge with black acrylic paint, dabbing the excess. And stenciling away. Now, depending on the color underneath, sometimes to get an opaque black, you will need to do a second layer. But it seems like for now, it will work for me just with this layer. Now I'm not too worried about the stenciling being perfect. Because I'm using black, I can always go in and do some fixing with a permanent black marker. Okay, so I've got this, which I already like. I can almost leave it as is. Okay, so that was the black. And now I want lots and lots of flowers in this section. I've picked one stencil. I hope it will be enough. I'm not sure. I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to mask the other ones so they won't get in my way. And I think because it's so close to the edge, I'll put a masking tape like this and like this, so I can really work without going outside the flower. Yeah. And just so my masking tape won't tear up whatever I've got here, I'm just sticking it to my shirt so it would be less sticky. And now for what colors. First of all, I'm going to use a gesso, and I'll explain why, although you don't have to. I've got this gesso which is quite thick, so I'm hoping to get some texture, not only color. If you don't want texture, you can just use white acrylic paint. So that's that. And also I need to finish this gesso before it becomes solid completely. And colors. Okay, so I'm taking this, it says royal blue, whatever, and I'm thinking some purple, just not sure which. I've got this aubergine. I'm going with a little bit of darker colors because they are going to mix with the white. So I need to take into consideration that the white is going to make them lighter in color. I'm thinking about magenta, but I'm worried about it turning pink. So I'm going with this wine color, and let's hope for the best. Okay, so I'm going to use my finger to do this. You can use makeup sponge or whatever you like. If you like working with stencils and stencil brush, by all means do that. So I'm starting by taking a little bit of the gesso with a little bit of a paint, like so, and just going like this. Now I want the darker color towards the bottom and more of the white towards the top, as if I've got a light coming in from the top. Now it's not going to be perfect, but that's the whole purpose. You see, that's how it turns out. And I want to layer them and do a lot of them, but because it's wet, I need to just go to another place right now and do another one. And I'm in all this paint. Okay, so again, taking one of the paints, and you need to make sure that your stencil is close to your page, otherwise all the paint and also the gesso will just seep through. Now of course there are all kinds of ways to fix if it's really important to you that your flower will be perfect, but if you are going for this kind of look, it's okay to be like this. And again, if I won't like something, I can always fix it. Now you see some of it seeped through. I don't care. I'm moving on. And I'm just going to take a baby wipe. So I want to drag whatever wet paint I've got to the next place that I'm going to use it. So I wiped underneath. So again, I'm just moving to another place. I'm going to do another one with the blue so you can see how it looks. And all the other flowers, I'm just gonna do it off camera because doing the same thing over and over again is just boring. So once again, placing it here, and I'm gonna take some of the blue with a little bit of the gesso. Don't know how much of it will show on the turquoise, so I'm adding just a little bit more gesso than I've done with the others. Yeah, so I needed to stick out on the page. Yay, that's what I was aiming. Okay, so the next flowers I'm going to do off camera, and I'll be back. Okay, so I finished with the flowers, and before I continue, I'm taking this journal, and I'm going to use all the leftover paint I've got here, just so the next time I will do one of my short videos of using a leftover paint, you will I will have this already. So I'm just, as you can see, I'm doing it quickly with I've added water to my brush, and whatever happens. That's one of the beauties of just smearing paint. Whatever happens. I really like it. I love making either collage paper from leftover paint, and I've got notebooks for leftover paint, or just doing something like that, smearing it and then using it to create a quick art journal page. Here we go. I know it looks like a mess, but that's the whole point. At least for me. You don't have to. You can throw away your leftover paint if that's what you want. I love to create all kinds of unusual stuff, and sometimes things that I didn't even think about just turn out from this kind of thing. You see, I'm just mixing whatever is left. Maybe I will even use some of the white here and the black, because why not? Not overthinking it. I'll just have background at the ready to create something. Okay, I think it's enough. I can throw away. Okay, so this is going to be the background for my next quick art journal page. And here we go. Now I want to show you how to fix a runaway paint gesso from underneath the stencil if you want to. And first of all, the simplest thing is that if you've got, like here, it's on top of the black, I can always go with permanent marker and just go and do something like that and fix it. So that's the most easiest and quickest way to do some fixing. Like here, if I want to fix, and so that's that. The other thing is that you can also use white. If you've got white markers, like if it's a Posca pen or any kind of other acrylic marker, or I love to use this Uniball Signo, you can always go, like I'm going to leave some of the white that came underneath, because it just gives me a highlight to the petals. So I'm not going to eliminate it, but I want to show you that in some places You just go with the flow with the white that went underneath, and you can just, and even if it's not white, by adding white, you are creating, as I said, some kind of highlight to each shape, like so. Don't know how much of it you can see, but let's see, maybe here you will see better. I can go around with the white here and just add more highlights. That's one way to go about it. And another way to go about it is just go around all the shapes with black marker. And how do I explain it? Basically, you create a contour line around all the shapes, and it's just one more way to go. I'm thinking maybe let's do that. But I'm not going all around. I'm going to put black underneath the shapes and leave white at the top, so it creates an illusion of light, highlights, and more a dimensional look. So of course this will take some time to go over all the shapes, but it's worth it. Now another way to go is to find either whatever marker you want and that will resemble the color you have in the back, and then do the fixing. And yeah, so that's one more way to go about it. Like, let's see if I've got something in that color. Maybe this one, I can go and do some fixing like so, if I feel like it. Or you can go back and just use the acrylic paint you used for the background and do the fixing with a fine brush. So all kinds of ways to go about it to make it look more precise, if that's what you are looking for. Okay, so that's that. And here, for example, I've got the wine color, and probably this won't cover it. It's just too dark for this to make any difference. But if I will go back and take the acrylic paint, I can do an opaque layer on top of it. Now, as I said, I'm not that concerned about it. I'm going to do some black underneath here, as I said before, so I'm not really concerned about it. I'm just redefining the parts of the stencil with the black and white, so I've got work for me. Now I'm thinking of going with the white to make the black stencil more precise, more in tone, and more cohesive with the rest. I'm not sure. First I'll do the fixing and I'll be back. Okay, so this is it. I've finished with all the black and white lines, and I've decided that I just want to stamp one or two more butterflies on my page. So one of them is going here, and I'm just pressing it down in hopes that it will give me a nice print. Yes, and just one more here. Now I'm happy. So this is it. That's my page. I hope you liked it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for leaving me comments down below. I'll be seeing you in my next video. Bye for now.